The observatory dome stood silhouetted against the indigo twilight as Elena Vasquez made her final adjustments to the radio telescope. After 12 hours of monitoring, her eyelids drooped with exhaustion, but the anomalous signal that had appeared 3 nights ago kept her vigilant. No one else in the astronomy department had taken her seriously when she'd reported the pattern, a series of pulses that couldn't be explained by any known cosmic phenomenon. Just atmospheric interference, Professor Donovan had insisted, patting her shoulder with the condescension reserved for promising but overeager doctoral candidates. But Elena knew better. The signal followed a mathematical sequence too precise to be random noise. Tonight, she was determined to gather enough data to prove it. The computer console beeped, drawing her attention to the incoming data stream. The signal had returned, stronger than before. Elena's fingers flew across the keyboard, adjusting parameters to capture every nuance of the transmission. "Come on," she whispered. "Talk to me." The pattern shifted, evolving into something that resembled language. Elena's heart raced as she initiated the translation algorithm she'd been developing, a pet project the department had deemed speculative at best. The observatory door opened behind her, letting in a rush of cool night air. "We're closed for the evening," Elena called without turning around. "Public viewing hours are tomorrow at." "I'm not here for the stars," a melodic voice replied. "I'm here for you, Elena Vasquez." Elena spun around to face the stranger. A tall woman with silvery hair stood in the doorway, her posture unnaturally perfect. She wore a simple white jumpsuit that seemed to shimmer slightly in the dim light. "How did you get past security?" Elena asked, instinctively reaching for her phone. The woman smiled. "Your security systems are quaint. My name is Lyra, and I've traveled a very long distance to find you." Elena's scientific mind raced through possibilities: a prank, a confused visitor, perhaps someone with mental health issues. But something about the woman's steady gaze made Elena pause. "You're receiving my signal," Lyra continued, gesturing toward the computer console where the pattern continued to pulse. "I've been attempting to establish contact for several orbital cycles." "That's impossible," Elena whispered, though the coincidence was too precise to dismiss. Lyra approached the console, her movements fluid and graceful. "Your translation algorithm is impressive but incomplete. May I?" Before Elena could protest, Lyra placed her palm against the screen. The display flickered, then reorganized into clear, coherent text. "Warning. Celestial anomaly approaching. Earth in trajectory path. Timeframe, 37 rotations." "What is this?" Elena breathed, staring at the message. "The reason for my journey," Lyra replied, her expression solemn. "Your world faces a threat beyond your current understanding or capability. And you expect me to believe you're, what? An alien messenger?" Lyra smiled faintly. "I am a celestial emissary, sent to prepare your world for what comes. I selected you, Elena, because your mind is open to possibilities beyond your current scientific paradigm." The computer suddenly chimed again, displaying a new astronomical reading. A previously undetected object had appeared at the edge of the solar system, moving at impossible speed. "That," Lyra said quietly, "is only the beginning." Elena stared at the readings, then at the strange visitor. Everything in her scientific training told her to reject this fantastical scenario, yet the evidence before her eyes suggested something extraordinary was happening. "Why me?" Elena asked, her voice barely audible. "Because you were listening," Lyra replied simply. "And now, we have exactly 37 days to prepare your world for transformation." Part 2, The Message. The government facility buzzed with activity as Elena followed Agent Marcus Blackwood through a maze of security checkpoints. Lyra walked between them, her serene expression unchanged despite being essentially a prisoner. "I still don't understand why you called them," Elena whispered, glancing nervously at the armed guards. We could have verified her claims first. An unidentified foreign national appears at a federal research facility claiming an astronomical threat to national security, Marcus replied tersely. Protocol is clear. The final door opened to reveal a conference room where 5 serious-faced officials waited. Director Natalie Winters, a stern woman with steel-gray hair, rose from her seat. Dr. Vasquez, thank you for your cooperation. You may leave now. She stays, Lyra said calmly. Elena is essential to what comes next. Director Winters's eyes narrowed. You're not in a position to make demands. I'm not making demands. I'm stating facts. Lyra's voice remained level. The cosmic event approaching your planet will arrive in 36 days. It exists partially outside your dimensional understanding, which is why your instruments detected it only after I calibrated them. Marcus scoffed. And we're supposed to take your word for this? No, Lyra replied. You will verify it yourselves. She turned to Elena. The frequency adjustment you made last night, apply it to your primary astronomical arrays. What you call the James Webb Telescope would be ideal. Director Winters exchanged glances with her colleagues before nodding to an aide, who left the room hurriedly. While we wait, Lyra continued, should explain what's coming. Your scientists might call it a quantum fold, a ripple in spacetime that carries tremendous energy. If it contacts Earth in its current state, the consequences would be catastrophic. You mean extinction level? One of the officials asked. No, Lyra replied. I mean transformation level. Not all life would end, but nothing would remain as it is. Elena leaned forward. But you came to help us prevent this? Something flickered across Lyra's face, hesitation, perhaps? I came to ensure the best possible outcome. The aide returned, pale-faced, and whispered to Director Winters. The room fell silent as the director's expression hardened. The Webb telescope has confirmed an anomalous energy signature approaching our solar system, she announced. Estimated arrival matches our visitor's timeline. Marcus's professional demeanor cracked slightly. What are our options? Evacuation? Bunkers? Neither would help, Lyra said. This isn't a physical impact but a dimensional one. However, there is a solution. She turned to Elena. Your research on quantum field harmonics is the foundation. With my knowledge, we can create a dimensional buffer. My research? Elena stammered. But that's theoretical, I've barely started. Yet you've already intuited principles that took my civilization centuries to discover, Lyra said with a smile. That's why I chose you. Director Winters stood. Dr. Vasquez, you'll be given whatever resources you need. Agent Blackwood will ensure security. Her gaze shifted to Lyra. And you will remain under constant surveillance. As they left the room, Marcus pulled Elena aside. I don't trust her. The timing is too convenient, she appears just before this event she's warning us about. What are you suggesting? Elena asked. That she might not be here to save us, Marcus replied grimly. She might be the advance scout for something worse. Elena watched Lyra walking ahead, her silver hair shimmering under the fluorescent lights. Then why warn us at all? That, Marcus said, is what worries me most. The laboratory hummed with energy as Elena and theoretical physicist Dr. Theo Nakamura worked alongside Lyra. For 2 weeks, they'd been building what Lyra called a harmonic resonance amplifier, a device that somehow incorporated both quantum principles and technology beyond Earth's current understanding. The equations are beautiful, Theo whispered to Elena as Lyra adjusted a crystalline component. But I still don't understand how this is supposed to protect the planet from a dimensional ripple. It doesn't protect, Lyra corrected, her hearing apparently far more acute than they'd realized. It guides. The energy will still transform your world, but this device will direct that transformation toward harmonious outcomes rather than chaotic ones. Elena felt a chill. You never mentioned this was about guiding rather than preventing. Would your leaders have listened if I had? Lyra asked. Humans fear change above all else. The laboratory door slid open as Marcus entered with Director Winters and a delegation of international officials. The past 2 weeks had seen governments worldwide scrambling to respond to the approaching anomaly, now visible to modified telescopes as a distortion in starlight. The United Nations Security Council has reached a decision, Director Winters announced. They've authorized deployment of the device, pending final verification. A Chinese official stepped forward. Our scientists remain unconvinced this resonance amplifier will function as claimed. We propose an alternative solution using nuclear deterrence. You cannot destroy a dimensional fold with physical weapons, Lyra stated flatly. Perhaps not, the man replied, but we can potentially divert its path. The room erupted into heated debate. Elena watched Lyra's reaction, not anger or frustration, but a strange, almost expectant patience. Marcus, Elena whispered, pulling him aside. Something isn't right. They slipped out into the hallway as the argument continued. Theo and I have been reviewing the data, Elena explained quickly. The anomaly's trajectory changed after Lyra arrived. It wasn't initially heading toward Earth, it adjusted course. Marcus's expression darkened. So she lied. Or there's something she's not telling us. Elena pulled up research notes on her tablet. And there's more. I've been analyzing the signal pattern that led me to Lyra. It contains embedded information beyond the warning, complex biological sequences. Like DNA? Similar, but not exactly. It's almost like instructions for cellular transformation. Marcus ran a hand through his hair. We need to confront her. Not yet, Elena cautioned. If my suspicions are correct, we need to understand her true intentions first. Back in the laboratory, the officials had reached an uneasy consensus to proceed with Lyra's device while preparing backup measures. As the meeting dispersed, Theo approached Elena with wide eyes. While you were gone, I ran that simulation you asked for, he whispered. The harmonic patterns don't just redirect energy, they become a carrier wave for information. What kind of information? Elena asked, though she already suspected the answer. I'm not sure, but it would affect every living cell on Earth. Theo glanced nervously at Lyra, who was speaking with Director Winters. Elena, I think we're being prepared for something much bigger than a natural cosmic event. Elena watched Lyra, remembering her words, transformation level. Not prevention, not protection, transformation. We have 18 days left, she murmured. And I think we're building exactly what Lyra came here to create, not a shield, but a gateway. The mountain facility stood isolated against the night sky, the perfect location for the resonance amplifier. 13 days remained before the cosmic event, and Elena had barely slept as she worked to decipher the true purpose behind Lyra's device. You've been avoiding me, Lyra said, appearing silently behind Elena in the observation deck. I've been busy. Elena didn't turn around, continuing to study the holographic simulation of Earth's atmospheric layers. You've discovered something that concerns you, Lyra stated. It wasn't a question. Elena finally faced her. The device doesn't just harmonize the quantum fold's energy, it's designed to propagate a specific frequency throughout Earth's biosphere. You're planning to change us. Rather than denial, Lyra's face showed something like relief. I wondered when you would realize. Why the deception? Elena demanded. What gives you the right to transform an entire planet without consent? It's not deception, Elena. It's necessity. Lyra moved to the window, gazing at the stars. My civilization once stood where yours does now, on the precipice of destruction. We had advanced technology but lacked the biological evolution to use it wisely. So this is some kind of forced evolutionary leap? Elena asked incredulously. A gift, Lyra corrected. One my people received from others long ago. The cosmic fold is natural, but its timing and trajectory have been encouraged. The observation deck door slid open as Marcus and Theo entered, accompanied by armed guards. We've analyzed the complete signal pattern, Marcus announced. And we found the part you deleted from Elena's computer. Theo activated a tablet, projecting a complex genetic sequence. This isn't just transformation, it's integration. Human DNA interwoven with something else. Lyra nodded slowly. With my people. We call ourselves the Astari. You're making us like you, Elena realized. But why? Because we're dying, Lyra said simply. Her composed facade finally cracked, revealing profound sadness. My civilization is the last of 12 who underwent this transformation. A genetic disorder has emerged in recent generations, we can no longer reproduce. We need genetic diversity to survive. So this is about saving your species by merging with ours, Marcus said flatly. Pretty convenient for you. It saves both our worlds, Lyra insisted. Humanity gains evolutionary advantages, extended lifespan, enhanced cognitive abilities, deeper empathic connections. We gain genetic viability. And if we refuse? Elena asked. The fold will still come, Lyra replied. But without the harmonic guidance, the energy will interact chaotically with your biosphere. The results would be unpredictable. Silence fell as the implications settled over them. I didn't tell the complete truth initially because I needed you to help willingly, Lyra continued softly. But I never lied about the danger or the potential. Your world stands on the edge of environmental collapse and nuclear annihilation. The transformation offers a new path. Elena studied the genetic sequences, recognizing their elegance. You're pregnant, she suddenly realized, noting patterns in the code. That's why you came personally instead of just sending the signal. Lyra's hand moved instinctively to her abdomen. The first successful conception in 3 generations, using adapted human genetic patterns from your broadcast signals. She is hope, for both our peoples. This should be humanity's choice, Theo argued. And who speaks for humanity? Lyra asked. Your divided governments? Your corporations? The fold arrives in 13 days. There is no time for your world to reach consensus. Elena looked from Marcus to Theo, then back to Lyra. Then we need to tell them the truth, all of it, and let people prepare as best they can. The sky rippled with auroras unlike any seen before, cascading curtains of light in colors that seemed to exist at the edge of human perception. Elena stood on the facility's rooftop, watching the phenomenon spread across the horizon. Only hours remained before the cosmic fold would envelop Earth. The global broadcast reached an estimated 83% of the population, Marcus reported, joining her at the railing. At least people know what's coming, thanks to you. The past 12 days had been chaos. After Elena and Director Winters had convinced world leaders to reveal Lyra's complete message, reactions ranged from religious fervor to violent rejection. Some saw the coming transformation as transcendence, others as the ultimate invasion. Any word from Beijing? Elena asked. Marcus shook his head grimly. They're still threatening to launch nuclear strikes against the fold. As if that would do anything but contaminate the atmosphere. And the resonance amplifier? Operational in all 7 locations. Lyra's working with the technical team on final calibrations. The door opened behind them as Theo rushed onto the roof. You need to see this, he said breathlessly, holding out a tablet. The screen showed microscopic imagery of human cells interacting with a strange luminescent particle. The cells weren't being destroyed, they were reorganizing, becoming more complex. It's already beginning at the microscopic level, Theo explained. The leading edge of the fold is interacting with our atmosphere. Elena studied the footage. Are these effects consistent with Lyra's predictions? Exactly consistent, Theo confirmed. The cellular changes appear beneficial: enhanced mitochondrial function, telomere stabilization, improved neural connectivity. Marcus leaned against the railing. So we're really doing this. Becoming something not entirely human. I would argue you're becoming more completely human, Lyra said, joining them on the roof. Her pregnancy was now visible, her abdomen gently rounded. The potential was always within your genetics, we're simply activating what was dormant. The auroras intensified, pulsing in rhythm with the harmonic frequencies emanating from the amplifiers worldwide. People everywhere were reporting strange sensations, heightened awareness, emotional resonance with others, fleeting telepathic connections. What happens after? Elena asked. Once we've all changed? That remains unwritten, Lyra replied. My people will arrive in approximately 1 Earth year. Not as conquerors but as teachers and learners. A mutual exchange. And your child? Elena nodded toward Lyra's belly. She will be the first of a new generation. Neither purely Astari nor purely human, but something wonderful and new. Lyra smiled. She will belong to both worlds. A sudden flash illuminated the sky as the fold fully engaged with Earth's atmosphere. Light cascaded downward like luminous rain, touching everything. Elena gasped as the first droplets touched her skin. The sensation wasn't painful, it felt like electricity and warmth and sudden clarity all at once. Around her, Marcus and Theo experienced the same, their expressions shifting from shock to wonder. I can feel. Marcus whispered, everyone. Elena nodded, tears streaming down her face as her consciousness expanded, touching millions of others experiencing the same transformation. Fear, joy, confusion, acceptance, the emotions flowed like a vast ocean connecting all humanity. This is just the beginning, Lyra said softly, her hand resting on her abdomen where a new life, a bridge between worlds, continued to grow. The first moment of your species' next great journey. As dawn broke over a transformed Earth, humanity awoke to a new understanding of themselves and their place in the cosmos. The message that had begun with a mysterious signal in Elena's observatory had culminated in evolution itself, not an ending, but a continuation of the story that had begun with the first spark of life on Earth billions of years ago. And somewhere among the stars, the Astari prepared for reunion with their newfound family, bringing with them ancient knowledge and the promise of worlds yet to be discovered, together.